You're listening to the Voices of Recovery podcast. This is a special episode featuring a recovering addict. Hi, my name is Sophie X. I'm the host and producer of the Voices of Recovery podcast. I'm joined here today by Marsha. Hey, Marsha.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
Thank you for doing the readings for the Just for Today and for this bad for the month of January.
Thanks for having me.
And you are on our special series of Rainbows in Recovery. So I did this particular theme to highlight the different faces of people in NA and also different sexualities of people in NA. We've had other people on the show, not specifically on this theme, but as a woman who is open about her sexuality in the room, I wanted to have you on the podcast to tell your story.
All right. There is a story to tell. There are
Perfect.
many sexualities here.
Perfect. Can't wait.
Bring it on, Sophie.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Okay, my clean date is February 2nd, 2004. I tried getting clean when I was younger. I started using drugs when I was young. I was like 11, 12. I started drinking. I lost my father when I was 8. So my mom was a single parent of 3 obnoxious children. 8-year-old, 11, and a 14-year-old. So yeah, she was 39 years old. She was left with really nothing. We had no money. We didn't really have anything. We had a house. We had a nice house. But he had no life insurance. So she had to work like 2.5 jobs and raise kids and try to have a social life. And it was tough, it was tough growing up. And, I started using when I was 11, 12. And I say this all the time, bad things happen to little girls who get high. And I'm not going to get into the whole abuse thing because I don't want to kick up anybody's stuff, but you name it, it happened, it went on. And I'm not going to get into a big drug-a-log, but by the time I was 14, I tried every drug under the sun. I was always looking for outside influences for an internal problem. Any attention was good attention. I got kicked out of high school when I was 15. I thought drugs were the answer to all my issues. I never thought I was good enough. I never thought I was pretty enough. Never thought I was skinny enough. I had issues with my sexuality because I liked women. I liked men. I would use drugs because if you use drugs, like everybody was hooking up with everybody and nobody gave a shit.
Same girl.
Yeah. Nobody cared. Everybody was like, ooh, it's party, The club scene was big when I was a kid. And so I just liked everybody. You talk about sexuality and I'm like, I was very confused because I literally liked everybody. And I never really thought that was one of the reasons why I continued to get high, because of my confusion and my uncomfortability within myself. But looking back at retrospect, that was one of the reasons. And I also was diagnosed with a learning disability when I was like 6 or 7. And forgive me for saying, and I could be wrong, I could be not, by me being labeled that way when I was so young. And the truth is, I just learned differently. And back in the 80s, they didn't do what they do now. They really didn't know what was wrong. They just said that I had comprehension issues, but they didn't want to ask, like, what was going on at home?
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't you focus?
No
Why?
context.
There was nothing. And so I felt stupid. I felt not good enough. And then I fell into a crowd that felt the same one way or another, maybe not exactly the same with the same issues, but felt the same. And I felt comfortable and I felt safe. I felt heard. And that was when I was little. When I was younger, well, I think being a teenager, I was little. I started using drugs until drugs started using me.
Mm-hmm.
And the friends left. I started using with people who were using just like me. And it was a mess. And when I was 20 years old, I walked into my first meeting, smoking crack and shooting heroin and cocaine and I was a mess, and my family didn't want anything to do with me. It was just a nightmare. And I was beaten, I was broken, but I wasn't willing. I wanted the pain to stop, but wasn't willing to do what it took to make it stop. So I wasn't willing to take the suggestions. I wasn't willing to get honest. I didn't even want to get honest with myself. How was I going to get honest with anybody else? And life became a nightmare. They say, one of the slogans, you do what you always did, you're going to get what you always got. And I always got high. I ended up getting a year clean, and I ended up at a bar with my musician boyfriend at the time. And, I had it shot. Alcohol was never my thing. I never even liked it. It made me sick. If I drank and smoked pot together, I would puke everywhere and make a complete fool out of myself. But when I shot heroin, it was so disturbing. I was like, I don't understand why I can do that and smoke crack, but I can't drink and smoke pot without blacking out and puking everywhere and making an ass out of myself. So I stopped doing that. So when I had a year clean, I found myself, with people, places, and things. That night, I ended up with a needle back in my arm.
It only takes one.
It really only takes one.
Alcohol's a drug.
It is 100%. And then in that year, I say it all the time, in the year I was using, I didn't think I was going to get hep C. I didn't think I was going to overdose. I didn't think he was going to overdose. I didn't think I was going to get arrested. Don't get me wrong. I didn't spend any more than 40 hours in a cell, and that was freaking good enough for me. Oh no. And I remember being in the cell. It was so cold, and I was in like see-through pants and a tank top. It was so cold because I went out in my pajamas to cop, not thinking that,
you're gonna end up in jail in a few hours.
No, it was cold. And then of course I was snuggling with a woman, and I was like, oh, this is great. I miss this. Why am I with you?
Oh my god, I can so relate. Oh my god, I can so relate. That's so funny.
Moving on. So I was a mess. It came back that, it's like back in 2004, getting diagnosed with hepatitis C was much more serious than getting diagnosed now. Every disease was much more serious 25 years ago, because they didn't have all the medication that they have today. Or information, exactly. So I crawled into the meetings on my hands and knees, and thank God that I knew a lot of the people that were there. People told me to keep coming back. My family didn't want anything to do with me, rightfully so. The program and the meetings, the people never pushed me away. They just gave me love and gave me hugs, and that expression, will love you till you learn to love yourself, held true, because I came into meetings high and crying, and I didn't know my liver was failing. I knew that there was something wrong. Like, it was quite clear. I didn't know what it was. I knew it was either hep C or HIV. I wasn't sure what it was. I was terrified to get tested, and it ended up being hepatitis C, not HIV. But my liver was like, I was wondering, I kept throwing up every time, I got high, whether it was anything I was doing, my body was rejecting it. And one day I just looked in the mirror. I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to die. It was to the point where it was like, change or I'm going to die. And that's the reality of it. And still the reality of it. Nearly 22 years later.
The bitter ends, my friend.
Yeah.
Jails, institutions, and death. And you're just checking them off the list at this point.
Check. So I decided to go into another rehab and another detox, and I threw in the towel, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, I can't live this way anymore. Because I knew that there was a better way to live, and I never wanted to take it because I was scared.
Where'd you hear the message the first time?
I was using with this guy who was clean, and he started using with me. And every time we got high, we would smoke crack and he would be talking to me about recovery. And I'm like, what the hell are you even talking about? I didn't know anything. I knew that there was like programs out there, but I never actually thought of going into one. And then I felt bad because he relapsed with me. I'm like, oh shit.
You were the people.
I'm like, I fucked up. I didn't know any better. I was like 22 years old. I didn't know. So anyway, that was where I first heard. And then somebody else at my job where I was working, her cousin was in recovery.
Mm.
He had 6 months and he knew that I had a problem and he took me to my first meeting. And one of my clients actually had 16 years in recovery. And it was obvious that there was something wrong. So he was trying to get me to go into recovery. And then that's where my journey actually began when I went to my first meeting. I did not get clean. It took me about 4 years, I guess, to get clean. Coming in and out, relapsing, getting 30 days, going back out, 60 days, going back out, year, going back out, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally threw in the towel and I surrendered to a new way to live. And the days became weeks and the weeks became months and months became years. And I am so grateful for everybody that was trying to help me. Even though I wasn't willing, I got the message, I got the point, and I knew that there was another way to live. And then I just finally started trusting somebody, by me listening, by me coming, into the rooms and realizing that whole Me Too thing, like I didn't have anything to be ashamed of because all my guilt, all my shame, all my pain, all my abuse issues, all my sex issues, all my resentments, I wrapped them around me like a blanket, and it was keeping me sick. And I just wanted to get better. Finally, I'm like, I just want to get better. And I did. And February 2nd, as long as I'm still willing to do what it takes to stay clean, I'm going to have 22 years.
22 on 2-2.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
I love numbers.
2-2. Woohoo.
Hell yeah.
And I'm so grateful. This program has changed my life. This program saved my life. I should say I changed my life and I saved my life by me coming into the program and by me like being willing to finally do what it took. And it's not easy. Nobody said it was easy to, get clean. We say it's simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy for me to be vulnerable still today. It's not easy for me to be vulnerable, for me to get humble enough to ask for help because I thought I always knew it all when obviously I didn't know anything because I didn't even know how to live. So I finally started reaching out and I finally started to get better. Life definitely got better, but life gets real. Like just because I'm not getting high anymore, didn't mean my family was going to trust me automatically. Didn't mean my finances were going to be good automatically. This program promises us one thing, and that's freedom from active addiction. If we stick and stay and do the work, we might just get some more things. And I stuck and stayed, and I got some more things. Now, I didn't get married. I didn't have children because I was always confused about my sexuality. I never knew what I wanted. I was mostly in relationships with men, but I was always attracted to women. And now I'm with a woman. I fell in love with a woman. I realized I'd be happier with a woman than I am with a man, although I'm sexually attracted to men still.
Same.
Yeah, although I don't really want to be in a relationship with a man. I haven't had the greatest experiences with men personally. And sex is easy. Sex is easy. Welcome to life. It's easy to have sex, but that emotional connection, like I put drugs down. I still had my attitudes and behaviors to deal with. I still had my sexuality to deal with. I didn't know if I was gay or straight or bi or tri. My family was like, "You're pansexual." I'm like, fuck. I'm pants. You just like people. It doesn't really matter. I'm like, how many sexualities does one need to have Gay, straight, bisexual. That is what I grew up with. I don't care what
I
other
know we're
sexual.
old school.
I know. I'm like,
Like
I don't.
before the Y2K movement, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like if you came before Y2K, like all of the other stuff can be a little bit confusing, I
I'm
guess.
46. It's confusing. I know I don't look 46, but I am 46. And I don't care. Obviously, I respect all like
Gender identity, sexualities,
yeah, of
yeah, of
course.
course.
I welcome everything. I love it. Diversity is our strength.
Hell yeah.
I love all that stuff. However, I was confused for a long time and it was hard for me to accept myself. And I fell in love with a woman. We have a house together, three cute little doggies.
Adorable. They're so cute.
They're the
They're
best.
so cute.
Is relationships perfect? No. I have to say it's difficult. It really is. Especially when I share very honestly when I go to meetings because I learned I can't save my ass and my face at the same time and I better stand for something or I'm going to fall for anything. That's what I learned. So I come into meetings and I share honestly. I share when things are going wrong in my relationship, when things are going right. And it's unfortunate, sometimes things go wrong and I share it. And I share if I lost my temper. And I don't lose my temper. I don't hit. I don't do it, but I raise my voice, and I don't like doing that. It makes me nervous. It gets me upset. And when I share that in a meeting and I share what I'm going through, and then I have to walk into the meeting with my partner, and I feel like, whether it's true or not, I feel like people are looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, get your shit together. What are you doing? Are you with her? Are you not with her? Are you happy? Are you not? And the truth is, I'm happy and I'm not.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in the last couple of years, her and I both haven't been happy all the time.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of issues. We've had a lot of loss. We've had a lot of problems. And I share it in the meeting and we're trying to work it out. Like, do we have ups and downs in life? In the last 21 years, have I buried a lot of people due to this disease? Yeah, I have. And the truth is, if I can make people stay clean, some of my best friends would still be alive. And it breaks my heart, like people with clean time that, stopped working a program. And that's why I get terrified. Like I keep going to meetings, I keep calling my sponsor, I sponsor people because life on life's terms is going to happen. Like, listen, I go to concerts all the time. I like to laugh. I like to dance. I go to comedy shows. I've been skydiving and cliff jumping and zip lining and traveling all over the country because lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. So I want to say, like, good stuff has happened. Like everything I wanted to do when I was using, like for me, when I was on some sort of speed, I was always talking real fast. I want to do this. I want to write a book. I want to jump out of a plane. I want to own my own business. And I was stuck in my truck. I couldn't do shit. It was a great thought. I'd be up for days talking about, what I could do if I just stopped using,
Yeah.
And then I started to do it. And don't get me wrong, it took me years. Like to write my book, I had, 16 years clean when I started it, I think. 17 years. And then, and I started my own business when I had 10 years clean. Like I always say, to get 21 plus years clean, it takes 21 years to get 21 years. So if you're new and you want all of this stuff, like I said, like there's only one thing is promised, the freedom from active addiction. I, however, wanted more. So I went back to school. I already had a career, and then I added on to the career, and then, now I'm in private practice, and I love what I do. I do like holistic healing. So I got a lot of licenses over and certifications. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I'm a licensed esthetician. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a health and wellness coach. I'm a recovering addict. And because I'm a recovering addict, I could do all that. And then I became an author. I became a writer and I wrote my story,
Silencing the Enemy Within is what it's called.
Memoir of Addiction and Healing. And it was the best thing I could have done for myself. And then people ask me, because it's one big fourth step. That's what the book is, literally one big fourth step.
Girl, I'm going to read it because I'm writing my fourth step right now, and it is so hard. It is so hard.
I see that wasn't hard for me. The sixth and seventh step, like when I finally learned my defects
Mm,
and being stuck in them, and then
mm.
having them because I had all the awareness, and then having them punch me in the face every freaking day. I'm like,
Girl, I haven't even gotten to that hill yet. All
I
right,
know.
I'm still in the valley. Don't even tell me that there's another hill. God damn.
But it's so much learning
Yeah.
and it's so much getting better and it's so worth doing.
Oh yeah. To free
And
yourself. It's freedom, right?
it's freedom from self, freedom, it's being able to forgive ourselves, forgive other people and move on with our life. Like we don't have to live in that anymore. That's who I was. That's no longer who I am. And somebody asked me, because I got very vulnerable in the book. I talked about my family. I talked about why I started using in the first place. I talked about all my insecurities, all my fears, all my anxieties, depression, sexuality, family issues, death. I got very vulnerable in the book. And somebody asked me like, how could you say all that for your family to read or anybody to read? And it's because somebody once told me, Marsha, when you could tell your story without being ashamed of it and without crying, that's when true healing comes. And I was able to tell my story without being ashamed of it because that's who I was and that's no longer who I am. And if somebody's going to judge me for the shit I did over 20 years ago, go
Exactly.
ahead. Like I
Yeah.
don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
If you don't want me in your life because of that, and that wasn't the case. Everybody who read it that I knew who read it, they had nothing but amazing things to say. Lost dreams awaken, new possibilities arise.
Talk about the principle of honesty and willingness to let that go. Those are two real big principles that come to mind when I think about what it would be like to write your life story, put it down on paper.
A lot of people have said, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. It's not easy to write a book.
Girl, I wrote a thesis one time. I'll tell you. I know.
I didn't even know how. I wrote a whole, like, no joke. I'm not even kidding. It was one big run on
Like a stream
sentence.
of consciousness.
Yeah, I just kept writing. And I was like, I didn't know how to write. I was very articulate with my words, but to like put it into like
Sentences and
paragraphs,
yeah, structures.
chapters, it was like literally one big run on sentence. And then I gave it to an editor and she was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Can you like break it up into paragraphs or something? She didn't say fuck because she was a very proper woman. I have to say, she was very proper. And she knew, but she was an addict. She didn't understand it. So she actually taught me how to write a book. And then I started writing another one. But then the shit hit the fan in my life the last 2 years, and I just kind of got blocked, like with a lot of sadness and a lot of depression because a lot of people that, like my mother-in-law died, my mother passed away. That's just the cherry on the cake of the two things that happened in the last couple of years. And we've had a lot of problems. Sad as it was pretty amazing to watch how we change into the people that God-centered people that we were always supposed to be.
If I learned anything for over the years from my friends who lost children, losing a parent is the natural way to pass away. Although it's sad and both my parents died way too young, I always said to myself that as long as I died after my mom, then I'll be okay. Because one of the reasons why I got clean was because I didn't want my mom to ever have to bury me, because no parent should ever have to bury a child. A parent's supposed to go first, not their children.
Was she a bit of an enabler? Yeah, for sure. But she never threw me away. My mom didn't curse. She didn't do drugs. She didn't drink. She was very proper, actually. And so when she had a stroke, it made no freaking sense. I'm more likely to get a stroke than she was. That was just devastating to me. But I was able to go back and forth. And it's because I had clean time, and because I had a program of recovery, and because I'm financially stable enough to be able to do that. When I was using and she called me a piece of shit, I was like, whoa.
Damn.
I must be a real piece of shit, because she really didn't curse. She didn't like express herself much. And when she did, you knew she meant it, because it was very rare. It was very rare she would stand up for herself. She was very rare that she would admit when something was bothering her. So when she did, oh, you knew it.
I done fucked up.
Yeah,
That
and
must
she
be a
did.
piece of shit.
Yeah, that's when I was like, wow. But that was the only time, like, and I stole from this woman. Like, I mean, I put her through so much. And did she trust me when I first got clean? Because, my track record sucked. No, she didn't. But she allowed me back into her home. I made her promises, and she even said, I just want you to be okay. I want you to be alive. I want you to be well. She's like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. I just want my daughter. And I was able to give that. She was so proud of me at the end.
She was my best friend. We were super close. And although I'm still devastated, I'm sad, I miss her terribly, I'm grateful she passed away first. Because, like I said, she shouldn't ever have to bury her daughter. And one of the reasons why I got clean is so she didn't have to. Don't get me wrong, I got clean for myself because I don't want to live that way anymore. But I also got clean for her.
How was your experience in taking care of her in those last few months?
I'm grateful that I was clean. So I was able to be there for her, and I was able to show up. I was able to, even when I had to go home, I was able to go down there every 6, 7 weeks and help her because she had aphasia and she couldn't speak well. I was able to do speech therapy with her and work with her and love her through it. She never fully recovered, but she was able to take care of herself. The only thing that she was a bit confused, and she was trapped in her mind because she couldn't speak what she wanted to speak, and it was so sad and it was so frustrating for her because she knew what she wanted to say and it wasn't coming out proper. And that was devastating for me because my mom was a talker. If anything, she talked too much. So, and she had so many friends and she was so social. And after the stroke, she completely changed. And that's what happens after a massive stroke. And I was able to be there for her for a couple of years. And then she had another massive stroke that took her out. Like she wound up on a vent. And me, my brothers, and my family, her fiance, had to make the hardest decision of our life and take her off the vent because she wasn't going to be able to live a life.
There's no turning back.
There was no turning back. It completely took her out. And I was able to stay with her the whole time. I slept in the hospital. I talked to her. My family and I sang to her favorite songs. And even the nurses, I'm going to get all choked up. Even the nurses were like, she had so much love surrounding her. Aunts, uncles, her children, her fiance, my partner, my brother's partner, and, my other brother, his wife couldn't come, his son couldn't come for obvious reasons, and we were able to be there for her. Her friends showed up for her. And we were able to say goodbye and be there for her and love her in the darkest moments of her life. And although I'm super sad, obviously, about it, because I'm clean, I was able to show up for her. I was able to show up for my family. And that's a gift.
Yeah, you gave her peace, you know.
Yeah. And one of my closest friends actually said something to me that completely changed my perspective. She was able to die knowing that you were okay, knowing that her sons were okay, and that she did her job in life, that we were successful, productive members of society. And she was able to go knowing that. And that's freedom, and that's love, and that's amazing. And because I'm in recovery and because I have spirituality, I know that. It gives me solace to know that. And although I'm sad, and I spoke to her every day, mostly every day, every other day, since I'm clean, you know, and I miss her terribly. But she was called home, and she was called home way too soon, way too young. But it was her time to go. And I don't have to like it, but I do have to find a way to accept it.
Thank God you have a program.
For sure.
Thank God. Thank God I didn't do my makeup.
And as devastating as it was, and as it still is, you know, my brother actually said to me, because, you know, we had to take her off the vent, and that was like the hardest decision any of us had to make. And then when it was all said and done, she was gone. My older brother, who I'm super close, he's like my best friend, was like, please don't use over this.
Oh.
But that's how bad my using was.
Yeah.
You know? And I just looked at him. I'm like, I didn't even think for a second to use. I'm not gonna do that to mom. She was so proud of me. You know? I didn't even think about it. And that's recovery. That no matter what, we do not have to use, no matter what happens, you know? And my mom was my best friend. Like you know, I visited her all the time. We spoke every day. Even with her first stroke, like she couldn't speak, like the aphasia never went away. Like she spoke a little, but not like a lot. FaceTimed her every day, every other day, like nothing happened. Sometimes life on life's terms sucks. And sometimes life on life's terms is beautiful. And that's what life is. It's a bunch of ups, downs, and all arounds, and, you know, somewhere in between. And we learn how to stay clean. And, you know, I have so many friends in the program. I have so many friends out of the program. At my mom's funeral, there was more of my friends than family, because I don't have a big family. I have a very small family. And, you know, my family was like, who are all these people? I'm like, they're my people, you know? And my mom knew all of them, all of them. They had dinner at our house. She always welcomed. She would laugh at me. She'd be like, all right, what strays are coming to dinner tonight? What strays are coming? And those strays became family.
Yeah.
You know, chosen family.
Yeah.
And that was her ongoing joke. Marsha, you're always picking up the strays. I'm like, Mom, I am a stray. So, and I remember the good stuff, you know? And I remember, you know what, life is life, and life's going to happen. And I don't have to destroy my life, because life shows up sometimes. And it's pretty incredible that I think this way. I know I have a higher power in my life, and I know, you know, the universe has always got my back, and I feel safe in that. And don't get me wrong, I get angry, I lash out. I'm not like some spiritual guru, you know. I still have plenty of freaking issues, you know. I mean, I flipped out the other day. I mean, I don't like beat up anybody, but I certainly use my mouth sometimes, you know, and
Welcome.
I could throw stuff. But it's few and far between,
Yeah.
because I remember that I'm human. And just because I'm in recovery does not mean I'm going to be perfect,
Right.
because I still have issues. I have issues still with sexuality. I still have issues with, a temper sometimes, or food. Food's an issue. I'm like up and down 10 pounds. You blow on me. I'm not a heavy person. It's just, I love food.
Who
I
doesn't?
love it. It's good.
You know what? It's crazy because I feel like after I stopped using, I was like, oh my God, food tastes so
It's so
good.
good.
Right? And we all talk about like the 10, 20 pounds you gain after you come in.
Oh shit. I came into recovery. I gained 50.
50?
50 unnecessary pounds.
Damn.
Unnecessary. I took it off. Well, I took like probably 30 of it off, because truth is I probably needed to gain 20
At least,
pounds.
probably.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was sick. And so I'm healthy now, but I love to eat. I love to exercise, so it kind of balances each other out.
Hungry
But
and fit.
yeah.
Talk about what it was like to go through the Hep C treatment.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh gosh, can't even imagine.
Because back then there was the interferon and ribavirin.
Mm.
Now listen, if anybody here has hepatitis C, go get the treatment, because it's like 8 weeks. It's like 8 to 12 weeks from what I understand.
Present day.
Yeah, present day.
Back then it was.
But back then it was 11 months of freaking, it was so bad.
And the medication makes you violently sick.
It was so
Violently
bad.
sick.
My first 2 years of recovery, I felt dope sick. Literally, because my doctor wouldn't put me on the medication till I had 9 months clean, I think, because he wanted to make sure, like, he wanted to keep testing my liver enzymes to see if they went down. My liver enzymes, when I came in, were 602. They're supposed to be like 20. They went down a little bit. I think they went down to like 480 in 9 months, but they weren't going down enough. And plus, he wanted to make sure I was going to stay clean, because he was like, what's the point of going through the treatment if you're just going to keep sharing needles?
Right, yeah.
Like,
you're gonna get it again.
It's, yeah, and a different strand of it. So I was clean, and and I was very sick. It was not fun. I was mentally, emotionally shot. My joints hurt me. I was nauseous. I was tired, but I made it through. And till this day, I'll always come back with the antibody, but it's not affected in my system. I can't give it to anybody. It's non-existent. My liver enzymes are completely normal. My viral, like, normal. My liver is completely normal now. You would never even know that I ever had it.
It's insane. It's one of the few things that we've been able to cure.
Yeah.
As biologists and biochemists. So there's very few cures for diseases, but they found a cure for Hep C, which is insane.
Yeah.
You're very, very lucky.
I got very lucky.
You're very lucky to have gotten that and nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, people keep telling me that after they read the book, like, people who aren't in recovery, like, I have clients that have read the book, and they were like, you are so lucky.
So lucky, dude.
So lucky.
So lucky.
And I have police officers actually as clients that have, retired, and they were like, you have no idea. People don't come out of that. It's very rare that people come out of that alive. Or
it'll kill you before you can diagnose it. Very rare.
Yeah.
And talk about what it's like to be in a long-term relationship with another addict.
It's tough. It can be tough, honestly. I mean, it's like a catch-22. I've dated people out of recovery that don't get it, and then you date people in recovery that get it, but the attitudes and behaviors and, the different aspects of recovery, like, like our recoveries aren't the same.
Mm-hmm.
And what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. And I think you should do it the way I do
Of
it.
course, yeah, because I'm right.
I'm like, I have almost 22
You gotta
years,
listen to me.
you know? But I've learned to stay out of her recovery. I mean, it's so hard because, I mean, she's been through a lot. Like, the shit hit the fan for both of us over the last couple of years. So we're in different spaces in our recovery. I mean, when we first started, it was a beautiful thing. Like, we were traveling and both working, and we were so in love and laughing, and there was no complications. And over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of complications. That
Life happened.
life happened, and it's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rough on our families. It's been rough on our relationship. We always say, if we get through this, then we'll get through anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And we've been struggling, you know? It's been a struggle. Being with a long-term partner in general
Yeah.
isn't easy. It takes work, you know? And I talk to people in like 30-year marriages, 15-year marriages, 10-year marriage, and it does. It takes work. It takes a lot of compromise. It takes a lot of compassion. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of willingness to work on the relationship. Being with somebody in recovery when the shit hits the fan isn't easy, you know, because we both have a different personality. Obviously, diversity is our strength in life and in relationship. So we both handle things differently.
Mm-hmm.
We're both working our type of program. You know, she did a few things that she needed to do for herself. I did a few things I needed to do for myself. And as long as we don't get high, we can get better.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten high. So that's the first step,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And honestly, with the way things went the last couple of years, and our house, a pipe burst in our house.
Insanity.
Our house got destroyed.
A brand new house.
A brand new house, beautiful house got destroyed from, you know. And I mean, in retrospect, I kind of like, I have to laugh at life, because if I don't, I'll cry always. Like, I have to laugh. So as funny as that's not, it happened, and we had to go through the whole construction, and she's in construction. So she was there all the time. I work full time. It's just been a rough couple years, you know, but we're here. We're still in this thing together, and as hard as it can be, like, and as much work, you know, we think it's obviously worth it to put the work in to stay, because we built this beautiful life. And just because we built this beautiful life doesn't mean it's going to always stay beautiful. It doesn't mean people aren't going to die. It doesn't mean a storm's not going to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And as long as we're in it together, on one aspect, it's amazing because we get each other. We understand. We don't have to keep secrets from each other about our past. We are very candid with each. We know what has happened in our lives. We know all our trauma. We don't hold back. You know, if anything, we're a little too open with each other, because welcome to recovery. Let's just put everything out there.
Open-mindedness, super, super open.
Yeah. And then when I dated somebody outside of recovery, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to tell him that. He or she, whatever. She. Bring it on. Anything's a go with me. If they don't get it, I don't feel safe talking about it, you know. And so then I'm keeping secrets from somebody I'm dating.
And the secrets keep you sick and makes the relationship super sick.
Right. And then eventually I'll start saying a little bit, and they'll look at me funny. Or then there's some people that don't care, you know. But it's just being with somebody in recovery, that's one of the bonuses. Like, we can let everything out. You know, this is who I am. This is what I'm capable of doing. This is who I am now. Love me or hate me.
Right.
You know, like, this is me. I don't have to hold back who I am. I know about her sexuality and everything she's been through and the trials and tribulations, and she knows about mine. And there's just no secrets between the both of us. And that could be a good thing and not so good thing. But hey, we're still here. And I've been with a lot of people in recovery. It's not just this one. And I've thought the same thing, and they've thought the same thing about me. I'm not perfect. I'm just I'm as fucked up as anybody else, I'm just trying to get better a day at a time.
Well, it seems like you surround yourself with a lot of people in recovery. Thank you for inviting me the other day to your little brunch get together. It was so nice to be around just a room full of women in recovery.
Yeah.
Just so rad. It was so awesome.
Thank you for coming.
Of
I was
course,
so
yeah.
happy. I was like, oh, she's coming.
Yeah, I was happy. It's nice to feel a part of. I very rarely feel that. So thank you for inviting me. It was very nice to be there.
No, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a good time.
And you got to know a little bit of my cooking and my baking because I'm pretty good at it. I'm
Amazing,
pretty good at
girl.
it.
Amazing. I've never eaten such good French toast. Oh my God. I'm just thinking about it right now. You just reminded me. You should not have reminded me.
That's my mama's recipe.
So good.
That's like
So
a
good.
family recipe.
Well, thank you for telling your story. You're an amazing woman. Again, Marsha's book is called Silencing the Enemy Within, a memoir of addiction and healing. I hope you continue in this path of recovery because, being a newcomer, I know you just because I've been going to meetings in your area. So I've heard you share before, right? But it's nice to have you in my circle now. And, being a newcomer and seeing somebody with so much clean time that takes their recovery really seriously for me is super important because, when you stop getting key tags, when you get the whole rainbow of key tags, right, that we offer in NA, like what's left to do. But then hearing your story about how you've been able to achieve so much in your life and to achieve all these dreams that you had when you were speedballing, right?
Yeah.
is amazing for me. So thank you for being in my circle. Thank you for telling your story. Thank you for supporting this podcast, right?
Yeah. Thank you for having me on it.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Good times.
Yeah.
Thanks. Love you, girl.
Love you.
The Voices of Recovery podcast is an independent production of the Works of Wisdom. We welcome your questions and donations via PayPal at voicesofrecoverypod@gmail.com. This podcast is an independent production and is not affiliated with, associated with, authorized by, endorsed by, or in any way officially connected with Narcotics Anonymous or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. While NA literature may be read during episodes for the purpose of supporting recovery, such use does not constitute an official endorsement or representation by Narcotics Anonymous. In accordance with NA tradition, the NA name is not to be used to endorse or be affiliated with any outside enterprise, and no such endorsement or affiliation is implied. Music is by Sage. Thanks for listening to the Voices of Recovery podcast.